Another US transport company has collapsed amid what some people are dubbing the Great Freight Recession. 1,000 jobs have been lost when this has happened, but is this being overblown? Is the freight industry in the United States going through a big recession right now? Well, the truth is a little bit more complicated than that, but let's go through this company that has gone under, and we'll go through how bad things actually are. They're not particularly rosy, admittedly, but maybe not quite as bad as some people are trying to make out. I'll explain all here. On October 9th, 2025, Montgomery Transport, which is a major trucking company based in Birmingham, Alabama, suddenly shut down and filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The company's 1,000 workers lost their jobs immediately, and many drivers were in the middle of delivering loads when the company leaders told them to stop working. Their paychecks stopped coming, their fuel cards quit working, and some were left stranded at truck stops across the nation with no way to get home. The company specialized in hauling steel, lumber, and building materials across the southern and eastern United States, operating a fleet of approximately 450 trucks. The collapse came after a failed rescue attempt. Montgomery Transport's owner, the private equity firm One Equity Partners, acquired the company in 2022 but decided to exit the trucking business midway through this year, due to declining freight rates and increased costs. Another Birmingham trucking company, P&S Transportation, agreed to buy Montgomery and save the jobs. However, the deal fell apart just before closing when Rollins Montgomery, the founder of Montgomery, filed a lawsuit to stop the sale. Without the sale, the company ran out of money and had to liquidate completely. Financial records show that Montgomery owed more than $25 million to lenders from loans taken in 2022. So the warning signs were there for quite some time, unfortunately. And like I said in the intro, some people are calling this the Great Freight Recession, but how true is that statement? Well, between June and October of this year, dozens of trucking companies across the US have gone bankrupt, with October seeing particularly high numbers of that. Smaller carriers such as Propel Trucking in Tennessee, R&R in Texas, and Epic Lightning Fast Service in California, great name, RIP, all closed their doors this year, with Epic Lightning laying off 116 workers. Industry experts now refer to this downturn as the Great Freight Recession, which is a 3-year slump that began in 2022 following the end of the pandemic-driven shipping boom. And that's a key part of this, People are saying this is the Great Trucking Recession, but really, I think this is a case of a lot of companies, unfortunately, expanding beyond their means during that period through the pandemic when trucking was extremely in demand, to now where things have normalized again. But unfortunately, a lot of these companies have just got too big for their boots. The declining rates of freight actually required now means that unfortunately some have to go. There's only so much business to go around. So unfortunately, some companies are going to go under some companies are going to go under unless they downsize. And obviously downsizing brings its own challenges as well. How do you get rid of those people in your company? They rightfully have a job. You have to pay them off just to get rid of them. So there's no easy solution there. And unfortunately, some end up taking out loans, such as Montgomery, where they basically take a gamble on being able to maintain what they've got, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And that's exactly what's happened to them. For example, and this figure here really does highlight the problem. During the pandemic in 2022 and before, the dry van freight fell from around $3 per mile down to less than $2 currently. So effectively, the trucking companies are getting paid less for doing the same work. So it doesn't take a genius to realize where their big issue is. That's a third of their income in that regard being wiped out overnight. Well, not overnight, over a period of years, but you get my point. So yeah, potentially a bad sign, but I do think it's a little overblown, to be perfectly honest with you. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you a trucker? Do you work in that industry? Do you think there's a great recession going on right now in the freight industry? I want to hear what you have to say on this as always. Like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, guys, have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.